I'm all ears.
Let's go back in history a bit. When the calendars show the end of the 17th century, a German researcher named Henry Brandt proved that everything they encounter in daily life is not a spherical thought, and that elements are contained within everything. On an unknown night in 1669, Brandt was boiling large amounts of urine in his laboratory because urine was golden colored, and Brandt hoped to become rich with the precious metal obtained by soldier binding.
Boiling urine, you cannot be of that squirrel.
After hours of his work, which did not look very pleasant, the only thing Brandt got was a thick black leftover. It looked like a sticky substance made from red syrup and burnt toast. He mixed the two and heated the mix again. After that, what he got would make no sense at all. The mix of urine syrup and food additives suddenly turned into a bright blue-green, intensely garlic-smelling wax-like material. Also, it caught fire very easily and gave off a very bright white light when burned. In a way, he had pulled fire from water. Brandt named his chemical phosphorus, which means bearer of light in Greek. He spent the next 6 years doing circuit tests on his material. However, this was not a fun time. To get 60 grams of phosphorus, we had to boil 5.5 tons of urine.
That seems a lot.
What an interesting story, right? It sounds kind of foolish, but we have phosphorus today because of that man's extraordinary experiments. And don't you guys dare try this at home. The warning has been given.
Not all the shiny things have a good texture, I guess, but most of the elements which are found by alchemists have similarities. Early alchemists and chemists used methods that seems very strange to us today to understand substance. This was because modern equipment didn't exist. Therefore, they generally tried to distinguish substance by sight, smell, sometimes taste, or by throwing them into fire. For example, Carl William Scheele, who was actually a pharmacist, frequently tasted and smelled substance in his experiments. When he discovered chlorine, which is a poisonous gas, he inhaled it directly, or he tasted poisons such as hydrogen cyanide to understand their properties. Those experiments caused Scheele's death when he was 42 years old. Don't forget, no one's joking when they say safety first.
I'm starving. Where's my food delivery?
What food delivery? We are in the middle of okay now.
Excuse me. I'm looking for a tooth. Where's
Right
the tooth?
here.
How are you doing?
Right here.
How are you doing? Here you go.
Thank you. It's just a peanut butter sandwich.
You can't eat in the middle of a talk.
I haven't eaten anything since morning. I'm starving.
Anyways, but at least it's good.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay then, save some for me. You're not the only one with full six. Now, hear me out. Dan Frost at the Bavarian Geological Institute wanted to recreate the extreme heat and pressure of Earth's lower mantle in his lab. Since peanut butter is rich in carbon, it was perfect and fine choice to test how carbon atoms react under stress. Frost placed peanut butter between massive anvil presses, applying 1.3 million times Earth's surface pressure while heating it to thousands of degrees. Under these conditions, the carbon atoms rearranged their soft structure into much higher bonds. After several weeks, the process produced tiny diamonds. While too small for jewelry and much more expensive than natural gems, they provide the vital data on how carbon atoms transform deep underground and rise to surface via volcanoes. Frost proved that even a simple kitchen staple can become a geological gem.
Science is everywhere, even in my food, but do you remember the beginning of the speech about the periodic table and 118 elements? There are too many elements, but scientists have proven that most of the universe is made up of hydrogen and helium. Although all other elements are heavier than its two layers, surface elements, they make up only about 2% of the universe's mass. However, helium is not particularly abundant on Earth. Until 1895, we weren't even sure it existed.
Yeah, wait, I mean.
Okay.
Following the discovery of helium and making natural gas fields, the first helium production facility was opened in Texas to supply gas to the military for anti-aircraft balloons. Starting in 1919, the US Navy conducted experiments to combat deep water intoxication in deep sea diving. Not from one experiment complained that divers drinking a mixture of helium and oxygen found that change in their voice characteristics made communication difficult.
This situation is caused by sound waves, which travel faster in any gas that is lighter than air. Over time, time, helium has been produced more widely and used to inflate party balloons. After explaining all of this, it's a shame we couldn't try its effect on voice changing.
Yeah, it's sad, but there's nothing you can do. Anyways, thank you
Wait
all.
a minute! I know someone for this!
What?
The helium girl!
Did somebody call me?
Just a second. Aren't you the girl who talked about butterflies?
Nah, that was just my twin sister. I'm the helium girl. Anyways, who needs helium?
It's me! I always want to try that!
Oh, sweetie, I can't let you try it because of some possible health risks, but just because you can try it doesn't mean we can't watch it.
Helium is lighter than air and it makes sound travel faster, and vocal cords start vibrating more frequently.
Anyone sound tired? Prácticamente medio pisando.
But don't be sad. I brought a gift for you.
Oh my gosh, thank you, helium girl!
That's all from me. Thank you.
Today, we want to explain that science isn't just a mantra to make you fail.
But it's a way to help us understand how the universe works.
Thank you all for listening to us.
See you next time.
Thank you both for your awesome presentation. Our next speaker is Melis Demir, who will be giving information about colors. Please welcome her to the stage.
We all have a favorite color, right? While we decorate our room or just choose our clothes, we take that color as a literal. Think about that. What's your favorite color? Mine is orange. According to color psychology, people who love orange are called orange people. Those people are mostly defined enthusiastic and adventurous persons. To me, orange exactly represents this energy. Your favorite color could be blue with the trusting views, or it is red, which feels powerful because every color whispers to us something different. Now, let's do a little experiment. Close your eyes and think about festive friends that make you start. So, what are the colors of those logos? Is it red, yellow, maybe orange? This is not a coincidence. These colors send a signal to our subconscious. Stimulate your appetite, boost your energy, and take action. So, how do colors manage to do that? Colors are divided into two groups, for warm colors and cool colors. Warm colors include red, yellow, and orange. Red symbolizes urgency, danger, and power. It fastens the heart rate and stimulates the appetite, which is why it is frequently used by discount signage and by fast food chains. It's effectively commands us to buy right now. We also encounter influence of the red world of the sports. Manchester United and Liverpool, two of England's most successful clubs, are renowned for their red jerseys and hold the most titles in Premier League history. Furthermore, a study conducted during the 2004 Summer Olympics revealed that athletes wearing red won approximately 60% of their competitions. Yellow is the color of happiness, creativity, and optimism. A touch of yellow can brighten our spirits, more of it can lead us to anxiety. The studies show that babies tend to cry more in rooms by dominated yellow. Therefore, this application requires careful consideration. As previously mentioned, orange represents enthusiasm and sociability. The cool color palette consists of blue, green, and purple. Blue is the color of trust and calmness. It reduces anxiety and increases focus, which is why it is frequently preferred by banks and hospitals. However, while blue provides a sense of peace, the context changes in the kitchen. Blue foods are almost non-existent in nature, and our brain reacts with hesitation. In fact, if you are thinking about going on a diet, try using blue plates. You will be surprised at how quickly your appetite disappears. Green is the color of balance, nature, and peace. The study conducted at Washington State University showed that green can actually reduce pain. The study clearly states, the next time you're in pain, don't take a food. Look at a plant instead. And it is the most restful color for the human eye. Finally, purple represents wisdom, dignity, and creativity, making it a frequent choice for luxury brands. These symptoms aren't just psychological, also biological. Color signals that came from our eyes and reach a place deep in our brain are called hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is small but extremely powerful. It acts as a commander of body's hormone system and autonomic nervous system. For example, when we see the color red, the hypothalamus receives urgency and danger signals, makes adrenaline glands release adrenaline, our heart rate gets faster, and our focus sharpens. Or when we see the color blue, the hypothalamus reduces anxiety by releasing relaxing neurotransmitters. So, we can say that colors can alter the chemistry of our bodies via hypothalamus. And one of the most shocking studies upon the topic is an experiment conducted by Alexander Schultz in 1970s in a prison. In this experiment, painting the cell was pink showed a significant decline in the violent behavior among the prisoners. And colors are also shaped by different cultures and different historical eras. For instance, the preferences of colors in Ottoman Empire reflect the mood and structure of the society at the time. In a period like Tulip era, which prioritized art, entertainment, and peace, the shades of blue and green were dominant in architecture and color types. In contrast to these periods such as the Suleiman the Magnificent, when imperial power was at its peak and where conquests were taking places, colors such as red were on the top because of its activating nature and demonstration of glory. We can use this information to better understand what's happening around us. Fast food restaurants usually use red and yellow as their base color. Their message is clear: be fast, eat, and be happy. Hospitals, on the other hand, come in shades of blue and safe feeling of white. Light colors generally preferred by offices and schools. Perhaps when you go home today, you will look at everything with a different perspective. Your walls, your t-shirt, even the pen you use. Because now, you know that color is not just something we see. They are a silent language that can change how we feel, think, and even make decisions. Today, we have decoded this language. The next step is to use this code in our lives. When you making a choice or simply picking a t-shirt, ask yourself, what is this color saying to me? Energy, calmness, trust, creativity, whatever you need. Invite that color into your life. Remember, colors don't just paint our walls. They are also painting our moods, our subconscious, and our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Melis, for your inspiring presentation. And now it is time to welcome Zeynep Akpınar to the stage.
Look around you. Look at the walls, the ceiling, the scale of this room. We tend to think of architecture as just an aesthetic choice. We believe that we are completely in control of our emotions and our decisions. But what if I told you that your environment is actively manipulating your biology right now? Winston Churchill famously said, "We shape our buildings. Thereafter, they shape us." But he didn't just mean they shape our habits. They shape our nervous system, our DNA, and ultimately, our society. Today, I'm I'm going to show you how buildings are not just shelters, but the most powerful tools of biological control and political power in human history. To understand this power, we must look at hard numbers and neuroscience. According to architect Ruggles and academic researcher Natalia Ricci, we do not just look at the buildings, we physically survive them. When you enter into space, your visual cortex processes the geometry of the room in less than 50 milliseconds. Before you even consciously realize where you are, your brain's fear center, the amygdala, scans the angles, the scale, and the light. It asks one biological question. Am I a predator here, or am I the prey? If a space is chaotic, filled with sharp 90-degree angles or aggressive concrete blocks, your amygdala sends an immediate alarm. Your heart rate spikes, your body releases cortisol. As Ricky's research highlights, chronic exposure to this kind of hostile architecture physically damages our DNA. It shortens our telomeres, which accelerates cellular aging. You don't just dislike a bad building, your cells are actively dying faster inside it. If architecture can control our biology, it can control our population. And rulers, emperors, and dictators have known this for centuries. Think about the monumental architecture of totalitarian nations. Have you ever stood in a massive, empty concrete plaza, surrounded by colossal government buildings? How did you feel? You felt tiny. You felt insignificant. And that is exactly the point. Rulers use a natural scale to manipulate mass psychology. Let's look at the Palace of the Parliament, built by dictator Nicolae Ceausescu in Romania. It is the heaviest building in the world. But more importantly, the doors in this palace are 8 meters high. Why? Because when a 1.7 meter human being stands in front of an 8-meter door, the brain's geometry calculates physical vulnerability. It triggers a biological emotion, intimidation. By making the individual feel physically small and isolated in a vast cold space, the architecture forces a psychological state of submission and obedience. It destroys the human scale. When citizens feel biologically overwhelmed by the sheer mass of the state's architecture, they are less likely to question its authority. It is silent, psychological warfare carved in stone. But architecture doesn't have to be a weapon. The solution is actually hidden in our evolutionary past. The human brain hates chaos. It seeks consistency and order. Ancient civilizations used patterns that create a subconscious sense of security, like the night square, an architectural order used from ancient Asia to the Renaissance. When our brain recognizes these mathematical patterns, it feels safe. If a natural scale creates fear, the mathematics of nature creates healing. This is called biophilia. When buildings mimic nature, our physical stress drops by an incredible 60%. Look at Antoni Gaudi. When he designed the famous La Sagrada Familia in Spain, he didn't use standard pillars. He used columns that are 24 meters high, ranging at the top, perfectly like a canopy of a horse. When you walk inside, your brain doesn't register a building. It registers a safe forest. Look at National Taichung Theater in Taiwan, designed by Toyota. Instead of using aggressive 90-degree walls, he used acoustic, cave-like formations inspired by natural rock structures. Süleymaniye Mosque uses its perfect spiritual geometry and vast airy interior to create a sense of mental clarity. The strategic filtering through its hundreds of windows works to lower stress and ground the human mind. It's a masterpiece where Mimar Sinan uses balance and light to directly suit our biology. Or the Eden Project in England, engineered entirely based on the shape of natural soap bubbles. These architects didn't just build structures, they built neurological sanctuaries. They used exact natural geometry to turn up the amygdala and heal the human nervous system. We are moving into an era where our cities are growing faster than ever. If we continue to build laboratory journals with unnatural scales, we will breed a society of anxiety and obedience. We must recognize that architecture is not just engineering. It is public health. It is sociology. It is freedom. We must demand spaces that respect our biology. Spaces that don't just intimidate our bodies, but elevate our humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Zeynep, for your wonderful speech. And now please welcome our last speaker, Çağla Çakcak, to the stage, whose topic is over the issue fate or free will.
Are we truly free, or are we merely actors in a story that was written long before we ever step onto the stage, simply delivering lines that were never really ours? You are here right now, and most of you probably did not come here of your own accord. Let us be honest, a teacher say, there is an event, and you follow. So, you did not choose to be here. But, in this very moment, you can choose whether to listen to me or not. You can let your minds wander. You can think about something entirely different. You can even say, ew, what is this? And complete the disengagement. And yet, just give me a second, here you are, and at this very moment you are hearing this verse. Ugh, I woke up, turn it off! Your alarm goes off in the morning. Just 5 more minutes, or get up now. At first glance, it seems like a simple decision, does it not? But in that very moment, it carries a question people have been wrestling with for years. Is the hand reaching for that button truly your own free choice, or is the reaction already shaped by your brain, your genetics, and everything you have experienced so far? Have you ever stopped to think about that? Perhaps not everything is in our control, but at the same time, not everything is beyond our control either. And that brings us the question at the heart of it all. Fate or free will? That sounds like the feeling, but if not, come on, let's start alone together. Wait. Excuse me, why did you do that? Did you clap because a 14-year-old girl you have never met asked you to, and you chose to follow along? Or was it already written that at exam moments in this hall, in those very seats, you would be clapped along with me? What is it? If you believe this was my choice, I would like to hear an applause. And if you believe it was simple fate, I would like to hear that as well. But have you ever considered this? Perhaps what we call fate is nothing more than the sum of choices we do not fully understand. And what we call free will is simply the feeling that we chose. Take this for a moment. I'm speaking, you are listening, but are you truly listening, or are you merely going through the motions? Hello, good afternoon. Did you wake up? Because here is something fascinating. Let us take this one step further. Let us look at it from a scientific perspective. In the 1980s, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet conducted an experiment. He asked participants to move their finger whenever they wish, and then he measured their brain activity. What he found was unexpected. The brain showed activity nearly half a second before the person became aware of making the decision. In other words, by the time we say, I decided, the decision was already having made. Naturally, this finding appeals to who believe in fate. They say, you see, you are not one in control. The decision was already there. But the story does not end there. In psychology, there is a concept known as priming. Our decisions are influenced by how situations are present to us, by our environments, our beliefs, and our perspective. The very same glance can feel different depending on whether you describe it as empty or helpful. So yes, we are influenced, but being influenced does not necessarily mean we are powerless. Then we must ask, if we truly have no control, why do we feel regrets? Why do we say, I wish I had not done that? Why do we fear making the same mistake again? Why does it feel as though we are making choices? Now, let us reverse this. If everything is free will, then why do we sometimes act against our own intentions? Why do we sometimes ourselves asking, why did I do that? We make a decision, and yes, somehow, it can feel as though we did not. For centuries, philosophers have debated this very issue. Some argue that everything is determined. Others insist that we are entirely free. But some modern thinkers propose a middle ground of a form of compatibility between the two. Life gives us a starting point. Our genetics, our culture, our family, our surroundings, but what we do within those conduction units extend up to us. Not everyone is dealt the same hand, but we can decide how to play the cards we are given. Allow me to take this more concrete with a simple story. A friend of mine did not achieve the score he had hoped for in his university. The program he had dreamed of was no longer an option. He was deeply discouraged, and he said to me, I suppose, it was not in my destiny. But the very next day, he made a different choice. Perhaps this is not the path, but there must be another. He took a completely different direction. And today, he is studying something that genuinely makes sense. That was the moment I realized something. Perhaps fate is the crossroads we encounter, but choice is the direction we take. Let us try something. Do nothing, just respond. Raise your hand now. Did you raise it? Or did you choose not to? Which one was truly your decision? Did you act because I suggested, or was it already written? Now consider. Now we arrive at the most important question. Perhaps the real question is not fate or free will. Perhaps the real question is, who am I? Am I the one making the decision, or the one experiencing them? Now consider this. If a person has grown up in a completely different family, in a different city, within a different culture, will they still be the same person? Will they make the same decisions? Or will they become someone entirely free? If the answer is that, they will change. Then how free are you? And if the answer is that, they would not. So why do we live such different lives? Perhaps fate is the crossroads we encounter, but choice is the direction we take. Now, we do not make decisions, but then we say, I did that. Not everyone is for in real. I think I can skip that. So, and finally, can I go to the final? Thanks.
Thank you, Chala, for your amazing speech. Dear guests, as we come to the end of Agltalks 26, we would like to thank all of our speakers for their effort and inspiring presentations. For our audience for being with us today. And special thanks to our English teacher, Sayın Özmal Göğübulak. Agltalks wouldn't be possible without her, and we invite her to the stage so as to deliver her the closing speech.
Honorable guests, dear students, before finishing our program, I'd like to say that I'm more than proud of my students. They did a great job, indeed. And they also proved that language learning is not only about exams or grammar. Self-confidence, communication, and expressing themselves are also very important. But apart from our great speakers, we have 4 more heroes today. ITT, please.
Evet, bu yıl dördüncüsünü düzenlediğimiz etkinliğimize katılımınızdan dolayı tüm değerli misafirlere, konuklara, hocalarıma, öğrencilerime, müdürlerime her birine ayrı ayrı teşekkür ediyorum. Ayrıca Dilruba'nın en son söylediği gibi sahibi hoca olmadan bu etkinlik olmazdı. Bu yüzden önce Saime Hanım'a, arkasından programda görev alan bütün öğrencilerime, perde arkasında, sahne gerisinde destek veren tüm personelime, öğretmenlerime, öğrencilerime ve bizi burada yalnız bırakmayan bu etkinlikteki başta Navi Ali Eğitim Vakfı Başkanı Zahmet Bey olmak üzere müdürlerim, öğretmenlerim, herkese ayrı ayrı teşekkür ediyorum. Okulumuz, kurumumuz adına Sayın Hanım'a belgesini vereceğim. Ayrıca bir de müzik bölümünü organize eden Senem Hanım'ı sahneye davet ediyorum. Evet, müzik etkinliğini nasıl beğendik mi? Öğrencilerimizi davet edin.
Mahmut Emir Dilek. Ve Derin Çimsar, lütfen hızlıca seni arkasından Kayra Canbaz. Muhammed Dönmez.